period. Okay. Kavod ha'av.
Hi, good evening.
How are you?
Good evening.
Oh, I was just sitting on my chair, fell asleep here.
Oh,
Can't believe it. Oh my God.
you were so tired.
You're so right.
It's okay. That doesn't happen to you regularly, you know. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, God bless. Thank you. Sorry to make you wait.
It's okay.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I'll just keep on reading Rabbi Yosef here. We stopped over here, 2 dots.
Yeah, we were exactly in Aleph Taf, no?
Yes.
Okay.
It says, V'im Tomar, if you're going to tell me, Lama lo Yerushalmi, why does Yerushalmi Lomar need to say, Ala niftar be'ahava brava, regarding the one who fulfills obligation with this ahava rabba, shetzarich shilmod miyad, why does he have to study right away afterwards? Shareh le'olam hu lomed, Shareh, because he's always learning. Shareh koreh Kriyat Shema, because he's reading Kriyat Shema. Achar ahava rabba, after ahava rabba. So Kriyat Shema should do the job. That's already Torah. ואפשר לומר, כבר אפשר שאינו קורא קריאת שמע סמוך לאהבה. So it says it's possible to say that maybe he's not doing Kriyat Shema right after ahava. Deha ika man de'amar, because there is one who says, Besof Perek Kama de Brachot, at the end of the first Perek of Brachot, Deha Tanan, that which we learned in the Mishnah, Amar HaMemuneh, that the appointed one said to them, Baruch Hu bracha echad, bless one blessing. Behem Baruch Hu, they blessed, Bekar'u Aseret HaDivrot, and they read the 10 Commandments, Shama Ve'aya Im Shamua, Shema Ve'ya Im Shamua, and then the Shema, and then Ve'ya Im Shamua, bracha echad, I know that blessing would be Yotzer Or, only Yotzer Or. Ve'im Ken, if so, Achar Kriyat Shema Omer Ahava Rabba, then that would be, if that's the case, Ahava Rabba would be said after Kriyat Shema. Even though today we don't do it that way, obviously. That's the way they did it there, in that particular location and time. So it says, the whole Kriyat Gavna says, in such a manner like this, the Yerushalmi needs to teach you Shen bracha echad birkat ahava rabba, that this blessing rabba potet birkat Torah doesn't really absolve you from the blessings of the Torah. Ela kashelamad miyad davka, only if he learns right away afterwards. The all dishtomar, and furthermore it says there is to say. The Kriyat Shema utfilah lo chashive limud. The Kriyat Shema and the prayers are not really considered to be study so much. Right? Regarding this issue, the divrei tachanunim utfilah lechud, the divrei Talmud Torah lechud. So he says, you know why? Because since we're saying it in a series of prayers, so therefore it's more like a prayer format than a format of Torah. That's what he's trying to say. So it says the Kriyat Shema is part of the prayers over there. So it says, it comes out, implies from these rabbis, the one who fulfills obligation by saying Ahava Rabbah, and learns afterwards right away. And then he stopped, he made an interruption. He doesn't have to now come back and bless all day. That's what it says in the Rosh, explicitly. So it says, I found also the Rashba wrote, Brachot Yud Aleph, B'Shem Rabad, name of the Rabad. Yesh Girsaot Shegorsin. There are also texts that say like this. Behu Shekara al Atar Ulota Girsa. So it says right that he read on the spot. Al Atar Ulota Girsa. It's according to that text. Kol Shekara Kriyat Shema Samuch LeAhava Rabbah. Whoever read Kriyat Shema close to Ahava Rabbah. Yatzai de Baracha, he did full obligation of the blessing, Kol Hayom all day, Lefi Shekvar Birech ala Torah, because he already blessed on the Torah. Pam Echad, one time, Baboker in the morning, Aval Esfarim with the Gasse, but it says according to the books that have the text, Kriyas Mukhala, right, a reading which is next to it, right, close to it, Ha'im Hifsik V'Chazar, that if he stopped and went back, and read again. So according to that text, he would have to bless again. Be'arosh, he said, but the Rosh Katab, so he writes like the words of the Reem. This is the language of the Rosh, Biushami in Yushami. So it says, I'm sorry, this language, Biushami Masik includes in Yushami, Behu Sheshana al Atar. That's only if he learned right away after he said that blessing. When you read the Hainu bebracha shel Ahava Rabbah, that's talking about the blessing of Ahava Rabbah. The lo mitchazer l'shem birkat Torah that doesn't appear. Doesn't appear that it's for the sake of the blessing of the Torah. Ela b'shoneh alatar, unless he learns right away afterwards. And if he learned right away afterwards, so then it seems like you're doing the blessing for the sake of learning Torah. Just like for the sake of Kriyat Shema. And then all day you won't have to read afterwards again the blessings of the Torah. And even if he will stop learning, then he'll start to learn again. And also a person who blessed on the Torah and then learned, he doesn't have to go back and bless again. If he stopped in the middle, therefore he needed to say that he learned right away afterwards. Right? That only applies there. Al niftar be'ahava rabbah. It's talking about a person who's full obligation after Ahava Rabbah with Ahava Rabbah. And not talking about somebody who just the blessings of the Torah. But if you're not going to tell me, if you're not going to say so, you should have taught in general the that stopping in the middle is considered to be like you're still toiling there. I'm saying, I'll read that again one time. Let me see that again. It should have said like this. So in general, when you stop doing something in the middle, it's considered to be an interruption, but and therefore you have to come and bless again. All the more so, a person who full obligation by Avaraba, the Af in Timselomar. Even if you're going to tell me, find right, if you're able to say, then Chiluk Ben Haniftar, between, there's no differentiation between the one who fulfills obligation with the blessings of the Torah, the Niftar be'avaraba, or the one who does with avaraba. Komakom says, nevertheless, Mistaber shebnei adam shegilim tamid. So he says, but it makes sense to say that people who are always accustomed Torah to always to be learning Torah. But even if they're going out to their work, to their job, so they're quick to do their needs. They're coming back again, right, to study. In other words, once they finish their job, once they finish their occupation, they come back and learn more. So therefore, their thoughts are always on Torah study. So he says it's not considered to be a interruption regarding the blessing. And even if he's studying at night, the night drags after the day, right? In other words, the next day we're talking about. You don't have to bless all the while that he didn't sleep. Says therefore, whoever is accustomed to sleep in the daytime, right, on his bed, a real sleep, right, not just a nap. So a person like that, it's considered to be an interruption, and you have to bless again. If you slept, he says, right? So even though the Rosh says this, right, we don't do like that, right? Our custom is not like that. So what does that mean? If you slept in the daytime, even in your bed, we don't come back and bless the blessings again. Only at night. That's our custom. So he says the Katab he writes furthermore, the Rosh things similar to that. Shal Ri et Rabbeinu Tam. So Ri asked Rabbeinu Tam, Im tzarich levarech al hashina, you do have to bless on the sleep besukkah when you're in the sukkah. Ve'eshiv lo, he answers him, shekol mitzvot sukkah shemekayim adam meseudat leseudah. So he says all the mitzvot that a person does in the sukkah, from one meal to another, kagon shina, like for instance sleeping, betiul and strolling. Bracha birkat deshe besukkah sheberech ala seudah potato. So he says the blessing that he made on the seudah absolves him from that. From blessing again right afterwards. So according to him, he says even if he diverted dato, his intention, his mind, from sleeping, for instance, let's say he went out to work, and then he changed his mind, you don't have to bless again. All the more so a person who is occupied with Torah study. If he goes out to do his work and the business, whatever, it's not considered to be an interruption. So so it says Bet Yosef, from his words you learn that he holds the lo amru vehu sheshana al atar, that he holds that when they said, right, that you have to study right away after you say the words of Torah, that's only if he did ahavaraba. We use the ahavaraba for that purpose. But if he did just the blessings of the Torah in the regular way, the law alatar, then we don't really require that you should study afterwards, right afterwards. But when he's being fulfills an obligation with ahavaraba, v'shana alatar, and then he studied right away, and then he interrupted. And also, if he blessed the blessings of the Torah, lamad, and he studied, ben alatar, ben achar, kama shaot, whether it's right away or after several hours, והפסיק, and then he made an interruption, ואחר כך he stopped, ואחר כך afterwards, אחר כך, כשחוזר ללמוד, when he comes back to study again, אינו צריך לחזור וברך. You wouldn't have to go now going back and bless again. ואף על פי שכתב, and even though he wrote, ואף אם תמצא לומר, even if you can tell me, זה אין חילוק בין נפטר ברכה בברכת התורה, there's no differentiation between one who fulfills obligation, blessings of the Torah, and niftar be'ava rabba, the one who fulfills obligation with the ava rabba. Lav le'mema doesn't mean to say the sfira le that he holds, that there's no difference between them. Ela le'ashminan, rather comes to teach you that afilu ikaman the savar she'en chiluk b'nehem, that even according to a person who says, right, the opinion that there's no difference between them. Nevertheless, with people who are always accustomed to study Torah, it's not considered to be interruption. But it says, nevertheless, right, he personally holds the Birkat Torah, the blessings of the Torah, even though he's not studying right away, you don't have to go back and bless. Even if he stopped, like Tosfot, that's why it comes also from Yerucham, that he writes, he wrote the words of Tosfot regarding this, Katab Divrei Rosh, and he also wrote the words of the Rosh, regarding studying at night, and he sleeps in the daytime. He didn't mention that the Rosh argues with the Tosfot at all. But it says from the words of the Tur, though, it seems like he holds that there's no differentiation, there's no difference. That you're fulfilling obligation with Avarabah, or the one who blesses the blessings of the Torah. We do require that you should study afterwards, right afterwards. I'm sorry. According to the opinion of the one who says that if you're going to tell me, even if you tell me Shahara Katav, or because he wrote, or Sheberach Birkat Torah, he blessed. I'm sorry. Yeah. Again, the Shehare Katab, because he wrote like this, or Sheberach Birkat Torah, or he blessed the blessings of the Torah. Veitchil lilmod, he started to learn. Veipsik achakach, and then he stopped afterwards. Belimudo, after with the studies. Enot tzarich, he doesn't need lebarech kol kayom. Doesn't have to bless all day. Umashma dematzrich lilmod miyad, but it implies that he does require that he should study right afterwards. After the blessing, the im lo ken, because if not so, then he should come to teach us even something greater. That even though that even though he interrupted between the blessing and the reading, then he went to do some of his business. When it comes to learn, he doesn't have to come and bless again. Just like that he needs to go back and bless when he uses the avarabah for that purpose. So it says, in any case, Mikol Sheken, I'm sorry, I didn't say it right. Mikol Sheken, all the more so, Hava Shaminan, we would have learned that when he started to study, and then he stopped, you don't have to go back and bless. Rather, right, his intention is to say like this: the Gambe Birkat Torah, even the blessings of Torah, you should have to study right away afterwards. That's the way he explains the Rabbi, right, Maria Vuhab Zal, but it says, but we don't really see. He doesn't really hold. He doesn't hold like the Tur. Sharosh lo amar ken, because the Rosh didn't say that. Ela b'derech im tim selomar. Just like if you, hypothetically. But it says, truthfully, practically speaking, when it comes to the blessings of the Torah, you don't have to study right away afterwards. But here it says, Beit Yosef. To me, it seems that Rabbeinu Nami, it says the Rabbeinu also, Sober, he holds that there is a difference between a person who fulfills obligation with Ahava Rabbah to the one who blesses blessings of the Torah. Because the one who fulfills obligation with Rabbah, there we say that he has to bless right away. Not bless, study right away. But when it comes to blessings of the Torah, the regular ones, and they don't have to do that. Because it doesn't say you have to, right, that we require that you should study right afterwards. Only when he does Ahava Rabbah. But when he blesses the blessings of the Torah, he writes like this. He started to study, but lo katav miyad. It doesn't say right away. Says this is what it means to say. If he fulfills the obligation with Ahava Rabbah, and he studied right away, or he blessed the blessings of the Torah, and he started to learn, ben samuch ben muflag, whether it's close by or afterwards, after a certain time period, and then he stopped, but he is learning. And not he doesn't have to bless all day for the Torah. He didn't have to teach us that the blessings of the Torah, they didn't have to study right away. Because since he didn't write that, only regarding the case of the one who does Ahava Rabbah. Mashma mimela, so automatically it implies that when it comes to blessings of the Torah, we don't require that you should study right away. So now, right, he says, so it comes to teach you like this, that whether you do Ahava Rabbah, that's your blessings of the Torah, ben b'birkat Torah, or bless the regular blessings, im shana v'ifsik, if he studied and stopped, you don't have to go back and bless again. Velo temad says, and don't say, dai she'ta'aleh lo b'irkat lepam rishona. It's enough that he should full obligation with the first the blessing for the first time, shilmod, that he should learn. But if he stops, they have to go back and bless again. Kamashman comes to teach you that you don't need to do that. According to Rambam, he says, over there in the 7th chapter, when it comes to blessings of the Torah, you have to study right away. So the Rambam seems to say differently, right? That you need to study right away, even when you do the regular blessings of the Torah. And that's how we do, by the way, right? Practically speaking. When we say the blessings of the Torah, then we say, by Daber Adonai and Moshe Lemor, Daber Aaron, right? We say these verses from the Bible. So we fulfill the obligation by saying those verses, by learning right away, for the sake of learning right away. Okay, so that's the way Rambam says. That doesn't stop doesn't interrupt between the blessing and the performance of the mitzvah. So it's like just like the French do. Says Tosfot that that's the way we're accustomed to do. Right away. Parashat Birkat HaKohanim. So we do it right after, as we said, right after we do the blessings of the Torah. The custom is to do Birkat HaKohanim, the blessings of the Kohanim, which is from the Torah. So this is what we do also today as well. Good. Okay. So it says when he blessed Ahava Rabbah, Kodem Birkat Torah, before blessings of the Torah, Katav Mari Avuhav. It says Mari Avuhav, Besiman Nun Bet, chapter 52. Shenistapek Rashba, the Rashba had a doubt regarding that. Im Yachol Lomar Birkat Torah, is he able to now say the blessings of the Torah or not? Since he already did Ahava Rabbah. Because they said that a person who's fulfills the obligation with Ahava Rabbah, Mevarechet the Torah, Birkat Torah, from the blessings of the Torah. Yeah. Right. So they said, right, that he fulfills obligation without Rabbah for the sake of the blessings of the Torah. So he says, according to the French rabbis, that we wrote that this absolves you all day. Not so without Rabbah. Then you should bless that. That's what he says. Okay. Very good. So let's see the Shulchan Aruch, how he paskins regarding all these things. Okay. So it says in Shulchan Aruch like this. Let's say he stopped learning and then he went to do his business, right, or his work, whatever. Since he intends to come back and study again later on, so therefore it's not an interruption. So therefore the rule is, right, that once a person already did the blessings of the Torah in the morning, and then he learned some Torah there, because that's the custom to do Birkat HaKohanim, blessings of the Kohanim. So he doesn't have to go back and bless again when he studies again the rest of the day. The Shina. So he says the same also applies when it comes to sleep, or going to the bathhouse, right? Or using the bathroom. They don't have sex. So these things are not called interruption. So therefore, right, bottom line is like this, right? That when a person blesses the blessings of the Torah once in the morning, or whatever, or let's say it was late night, he got up late night, whatever it is, that absolves him the whole day. So, right, in a general manner, we only bless the blessings of the Torah one time. That's it, right? Once a day. So let me just explain to you something. I already mentioned this before, but just to fill you in, right? There would be an exception to that rule. You would have to bless more than once a day. What would be the exception to the rule? Let's say you got up late at night, right? About 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, after midnight. 3, 4, or 5, whatever it is. It's still not daytime yet. Still night. And then he wanted to learn Torah, right? So he had to do blessings of the Torah. So now the problem is he got a little bit daisy, right? He fell asleep, just like me over here, right? I fell asleep here. So he also fell asleep, right? After he got up. And now all of a sudden, right, he wakes up in the morning and he says, oh my God, I fell asleep. He fell asleep in the bed. He went to bed. I didn't go to bed, but they went to bed. I don't have that luxury of going to bed. So, if he went to bed before the daytime and then got up again in the morning, whatever, so he has to bless again, right? The blessings of the Torah. What's the reason why? Because since he slept at night, right, that already nullifies what he did beforehand. So he would have to bless again. That will be the only time that he has to bless more than once a day, the blessings of the Torah. So as a general rule, right, the rule is like this. If you slept any time of the night, whether it's early at night, 9 o'clock, right, or 10, 11, 12, 3, whatever, right, 4 or 5, if you slept at night in the bed, and you got up, you do have to say the blessings of the Torah again. Just the rule, any time of the year, any time of the season, right, whatever it may be, that's the way it is. But if you slept in the daytime, you don't have to do it again, as we just mentioned. And the same thing also applies. The Shulchan Aruch says here, the same thing applies also if you went into the bath, right? Let's say you took a shower, right? Whatever. You went to the bath, or you use the bathroom. You don't have to now bless again the blessings of the Torah. It's not considered to be an interruption because you intend to come back out and learn more. So therefore, it's not considered to be interruption. Okay, very good. That's the story. If you have any questions, let me know. Let's go to Yud-Aleph. I guess we'll make up the half hour that we lost, right? We'll go till 10 if it's possible, if nobody stops us. if the FBI doesn't call us to stop us. Okay, so yeah, we'll try to avoid that. So let's go on. So it says, if he slept, Katavar Adonai Aviarosal. So it says the Rosh, the Tur says, the Tshuva in a Tshuva, She'af Bayom Im Yashen Shinat Keva, that even if he slept right in the daytime permanently, he has to bless again, right? That's what we just said in the name of the Rosh. Even though we don't do that way, but the Rosh holds like that. If you slept in the bed, right, during the daytime, you have to bless again. We don't do like that. So it says regarding that, with Yosef, Gam Psakim, it says also in Psakim, Katav can he wrote like that, the Rosh, Kemo Shkatabti B'Samuch, like I wrote close by. But it says the ends of the words of the Tshuva, Lo Katav Psakim, he didn't write in the Psakim, Katav Rabbeinu Kol Advarim B'Shem HaTshuva. So he wrote all these things, the Tur, in the name of the Tshuva, the Katuv V'Agot Me'emoniot. So it's written in this book, Perek Zayin Hilchot Tefillah, which is one of the commentaries on the Rambam. He says there, B'Shem Rabbeinu Simcha, name of Rabbeinu Simcha, Sheshina Umerchatz Mafsikim, that when it comes to sleep and going to the bathhouse, that's called an interruption. So therefore, if it's coming to study afterwards, you don't have to bless again, because that's considered to be interruption. Because you can't really study when he's sleeping. Right? So there's no way to do that. Or he's in the bath. Or in the bathroom. Mio says, however, the Ram Katav, he writes, they didn't have the custom to go back and bless again. Only when he slept in the bed, the fish because he doesn't really divert his attention. From study, even with a bathhouse or bathroom, at Kaneshino. The Agur, it says the Agur, Katav, he writes, a different reason, he says, the fish and that even if he he uses a bathroom, you have to be careful with the rules. Just like when it comes to, there's also all kinds of halachot there. In other words, he's saying like this, right? When you go to the bathroom, there's all kinds of halachot that you have to observe there. So you're not really forgetting about the Torah even in the bathroom. So what will be an example, right? You have to be careful, gilu tefach, right? Not to reveal too much of your body, and things like this. And also how he should wipe himself, right? All these things. So he says the Bnei Kabait that the custom is like that. What does that mean? That we don't bless after the bathhouse, right? The bathroom. Katav o dagur, says the Agur, right? Furthermore, Shaviv Zal, his father, right, had the custom not to bless during the day, even if he slept in the bed. That's the proper thing to do. So if you're going to be lenient in a place with when it comes to blessings, in a place where there's a dispute, you didn't really lose nothing. Because the blessings don't really, right? They don't prevent the mitzvah. So he says there is a wonder here. He says whether you're going according to the Rosh or the Rabbeinu Simcha, Ben Ram, according to Ram, Shina have sex. Sleeping is called an interruption according to them. We don't see anybody who argues with that. He says, if so, so then how does his father, right, accustom people, the lo keman, not according to any of these rabbis? So he says the son is here is like stronger than the father. Mishum deyesh machloket b'davar, because there's a machloket regarding this. And we don't find anybody who argues with this. So he says it's possible that the reason is Mishum de Rabbeinu Tam, because according to Rabbeinu Tam, afilu shina kol alayla, shinat kol alayla, even if you slept all night, lo have sex, it's not really called an interruption. Kemo shechtov besamuch, like we're going to read right close by. ואף על פי שאין ההלכה כמותו, and even though ההלכה is like him, מפני שכל הפוסקים או חולקים עליו, because all the poskim are arguing with him, היינו בשנת לילה, that's only when you sleep at night. בשנת יום, but when it comes to sleeping in the daytime, מיהו, יש לחוש לדבריו, there is concern about his words. וכן נוהגים, so that's a custom, העולם, the world has a custom like that, שלא לברך ביום, that we don't bless in the daytime. So in other words, as we said, right, if you slept in the daytime, and you got up and you want to study more, we don't bless on that. Afilu achar shinat keva, even if he slept in the bed. Okay, very good. Let's go to Shulchan Aruch here. Yud Aleph. So says Shulchan Aruch, as we already mentioned, shinat keva bayom, if he slept in the daytime, right, even in the bed, al mitato, have seconds considered to be interruption. The issue, I mean, some say, right, the lo have seconds. Some say it's not interruption, right? So the first opinion is the Rosh. The second opinion is the Rambam. So how do we do? Right? V'chen says the custom is like the second opinion. So what does that mean? The custom is if you slept in the daytime, even in bed, we don't come back and say the blessings of the Torah again. Very good. Let's go to Yud Bet. Let's see where it is. Looks like Yud Bet is hiding from us somewhere. Probably behind us. Okay, let's go behind.
Kavod Harav, in the Shulchan Aruch, that the Rosh says that sleeping on his bed is considered interruption during the day, and therefore the Birkat HaTorah must be recited again, but the Rambam goes against, right? Doesn't say that.
Yes.
Is that where we apply the that rule that you taught us, the shtem and the yad or something like that? I forgot how is it that we rule like the later one, no? Or no?
Oh, okay. That's very interesting what you're asking. Yeah, I'm going to answer you. Just give me a second. I'm just looking to see where this is. You'd bet, can't find it. Okay, maybe it just doesn't exist. Maybe it's just Shulchan Aruch. Sometimes it happens like that. Only Shulchan Aruch, no Bet Yosef. Yeah, it seems like it doesn't exist. Okay, let's look at the Shulchan Aruch. You'd bet and see what it says there. It says Shulchan Aruch, Afim Lamad Balayl, right? It's really like included what we already said. Even if he studied at night, okay? The night goes after the day. Shavar, that passed already. You don't have to go back and bless. Unless you slept, right? As we said, if you slept at night, you do have to bless again. If you didn't sleep at night, you don't have to bless again. Okay, so we got that? That's good?
Yes.
Okay, so now let's get back to your question. Right, so I think what you're trying to ask is that we go according to the later authority. That's what you're trying to say?
Yes, there's a rule in halakha.
Okay, so let's get into that. It's a very big meal. What you're asking about. We'll give you a whole meal here. So it goes like this, right? That there are rules about paskening halakha, right? In terms of chronology, time, timing. So what does that mean? The rule is that the Tanaim, who were the authors of the Mishnah in that period where the Mishnah was written.
Yes.
The Tanaim, the Amoraim who came afterwards, right, who were in the Talmud, they're not allowed to argue with the Tanaim.
Okay.
Because they were before, so they're more authoritative. So the general rule is, right, the one who's before is more authoritative.
Okay. And in this case, the Rosh versus the Rambam, who is more authoritative, or the Rambam, yeah?
We'll get to that, but just I just want to go through the whole thing, right? So the Amoraim who are in the Talmud can't argue with the Tanaim. That's the general rule, right? And then we have also the Geonim, right, who came after the Tanaim, after the Emoraim. Right? They can't argue with them, the Emoraim, because they were earlier. So the Geonim don't argue with the Emoraim. Because the Geonim were after the Talmud, right? The Emoraim were in the Talmud. So then after the Geonim, we have the Rishonim, right? The Rishonim did argue with the Geonim, but not with the authors of the Talmud, right? So that whole period from about 600 up to 1300, 1400, right? That's the period of the Geonim and Rishonim. So those rabbis can't argue with the Emoraim. And then we have the Achronim that came afterwards, right? Which is about like from 1400 and onwards, 1500 and onwards, around there, the cutoff time, about 1500. From there and onwards until this day, right? This very day that we're here, sitting here, those Achronim, right? Which is about a 500-year period, they can't argue with the Rishonim, the ones that came before that. So the rule is, right, that the period that was before you, that period you can't argue with. Okay, that's one rule, right? Which is an ironclad rule. We try not to break that rule, even though sometimes we do find that those rules were broken sometimes. But in general, right, as a general rule, nobody breaks these rules. Okay, why is that? Because the closer you are to the Har Sinai, to the receiving of the Torah on Har Sinai, on Mount Sinai, the more your Masorah, your tradition is very clear. Mm-hmm. So therefore, the ones who are before have a clearer understanding of the Torah than we do. That's one thing. So now also we have another concept, right, which is halacha is like the later authority. Mm-hmm. So how does that fit into what we just said? Doesn't fit in very well. So how does that work out, right? How does that work out? So you know how it fits in? That when we say the halacha is like the later authority, we're talking about the later authority of your period, right? So in other words, in the periods of the Achronim, right, which is the last 500 years, then we go like the later authority of the Achronim. Understand? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But we don't go but we don't argue with the Rishonim who were before that, the period that was prior to that. So when we say that the halacha is like the later authority, that's only within the same period that you're in.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So then why do we say the halacha is like the later authority? Because the later authority, the one who's more closer to your generation, knows the situation of your generation better. He knows your predicament better. Mm-hmm. He understands it better. So therefore the halacha is like him.
Okay.
But if you're talking about somebody who was in the period before you, that's already too much of a leap, too much of a jump. You can't jump that far back. Mm-hmm. So here, what's the story, right? That the Rosh and the Rambam, they're both Rishonim. Okay. So the Rosh does argue with the Rambam many, many, many times. Mm-hmm. Even though the Rambam was about 200 years before him. 250 years. So the rule is over there like this, that there's really no clear rule what the halacha is when the Rosh and the Rambam are arguing, just them, right? Nobody else involved. Okay. It's not so clear. Usually what happens is the Sephardim go like the Rambam and the Ashkenazim go like the Rosh. Okay. But here, right, what the Shulchan was telling you is that nobody does like the Rosh. So you know why that is? Even the Ashkenazim, they don't do it. Why is that? Because the custom is like that. Minhag, the custom became like the Rambam. So therefore, right, nobody does like the Rosh today.
Okay.
What's the reason why the custom is like the Rambam? Why is that? Because of it's a doubtful blessing, right? When you have a doubt about blessings, we don't make the blessing. That's a general rule, right? Safek brachot le'akel.
Yes.
When you have a doubt about a blessing, you don't bless. Correct. So if you're not sure, right? When in doubt, throw it out. Okay. This is the rule, right? That's what we do over here as well. We're not sure if the blessing is pertinent. Right, so therefore we just don't do it. That's it.
To avoid also a bracha levatana, no, God forbid.
That's exactly what I just said.
Okay.
Because of bracha levatala, right? Okay. There's a concern about bracha levatala, so therefore we don't do it. That's yeah. Okay, very good. That's that, right? I got that off my shoulders right now. You guys know. What's going on there? Okay. By the way, most women don't know these rules. You guys are already like in the elite club of women. Most women don't know these things. You ask them, about these things. They'll tell you, I don't know. I'll tell you what's in my purse. I got some lipstick there. They'll tell you. They don't know about the Rosh and the Rambam. Who's the Halakha? They don't know about these things. Okay. Okay. All right. So lucky you, that you know these things. What can I tell you? You're one of the lucky few, the select few. Okay. I think even most men don't know these things. Only the rabbis know. The real chachamim, they know these things. Even the men don't know today. Okay. So anyway.
So Kavod Harav, if they don't know, how are we going to know that we are marrying good husbands? If they, I don't know. I guess we better stop it.
Well, what can I tell you? Looks like you're gonna have to give him a test before you marry him. Give him a test,
Well, that's I think paramount at this point.
Give him an exam,
And if he doesn't pass, he doesn't qualify.
Okay, you do. He doesn't pass. Either you have to teach him or get rid of him. One or the other.
Well, yeah, I think the second one.
One or the other. Okay. All right. Very good. So as we said, right, that's the way it goes. So I think we saw the Shulchan Aruch, right? We saw it already? We'll check it. Yeah, I think we did. Yeah, we saw everything. We're done with that. Okay, so now we'll go to the next one, which is, I think, Yud Gimel. The order is a little bit mixed up, see, in this chapter, which, by the way, happens fairly often in Bet Yosef, right? The order is not always in the way the text is. Here we go. Okay, so this is the Bet Yosef Yud Gimel, right? So it says over here, Hamashkiva Boker. So it says the one who gets up early. So what does that mean? Get up at night, right? Late night, right? The wee hours. Get up late night, right? Before he goes to the shul. So what should you do? You should bless the blessings of the Torah, right? Why is that? Because he wants to learn Torah. Very simple, right? So since he already slept at night, so he has to bless now. So it says regarding that the Bet Yosef, King Katav Rosh, that's what it says in Rosh, Sof Perek Kama de Brachot, at the end of the first Perek of Brachot, V'gam B'tshuva, Shkatav Rabbeinu B'samuch. So it's also the Tshuva that was written by Rabbeinu, right, which is the Torah, close by, the Kaman later on, Aval Mordechai, but it says the Mordechai Katav. Says the Mordechai, Sham over there, Sharam Omer, the Ram says, Eno Tzarich Levarech, he doesn't have to bless, because the blessings of the day before absolves it. Ad Shachrit, until the morning, next morning. So these rabbis hold, if you got up late at night, right, it's still not daytime yet, you don't have to bless. We don't paskin like that. But Tosfot, it says Tosfot, Katvu ken b'shem Rabbeinu Tam, right? They said the name of Rabbeinu Tam. The Katvu, I'm sorry. The Tosfot Katvu ken, they wrote so in the name of Rabbeinu Tam. Katvu, and also they wrote the lo nihira. That doesn't make sense. Over Kitvei Ma'arav Yisrael, in the writings of this rabbi. Siman Kuf Chav Gimel Katav. He writes over there, Shehu v'dodo, him and his uncle Zal, right? Hayu Noagim. They were accustomed levarech to bless. וגם האגור, also the Agur, כתב שרבנו תם היה יחיד בדבר בזה. So he says רבנו תם was a minority opinion, right? A single opinion regarding this. וכל הפוסקים אומרים, but all the poskim say שיש לברך, that you should bless. וכן נוהגים לעולם, so that's the custom, right? Custom is to bless. So therefore, when you get up late night, it's not day yet, you do have to bless the blessings of the Torah if you want to learn Torah. That's for sure. It goes on to say, Mash katab keshekore parashat tamid, and then he says, when he reads the portion of the daily offering, but in the shul, you don't have to go back and bless again, because you already blessed when you got up, and he didn't go to sleep right afterwards, so he's good. That's what it says in Rosh, in the first, the end of the first parak. The brachot. That's what it says in Rashba. Sham b'shem atosfot. Name atosfot. V'chen katvu gaot b'amaniot. That's also says in the gaot b'amaniot. B'perek zayin menchot mitfilah, laws of tefillah. V'lo k'divrei talmidei Rashi. Not like the disciples of Rashi. Shayu omrim. They used to say b'shmor his name. Shekeshaya mashkim likrot haya. When he was getting up early, he was haya mevarech birkat Torah. He would bless the blessings of the Torah, and then when he comes to shul, he would bless it again, right? I don't know why he was doing it again. I guess because the dawn came. That's why he was doing it again, right? And it's like it's going to be like somebody who's reading the Torah, and therefore he will bless again in the shul. Even though he already blessed. Teshani hatam, because it's different there. Why? Because the blessings were made for that. Even if you blessed right away, right? Blessings of the Torah, it doesn't stop. He still has to bless when the dawn comes. Just like they decreed, right, to do the blessing afterwards. Like the Asher Bachar Banu, this blessing, left Asher Bachar Lehaftara, for the Haftara. Katav Adonai Avorsa. So says the Rosh, he says the Tur. Amashkim Lidmod Kodem Yamod Amud Hashachar. If a person gets up to learn, right, late night, before the dawn, he also has to do Netilat Yadayim and bless Netilat Yadayim, right? He needs a cup there. Asher Yatzar, and also Asher Yatzar, Velohai Neshama. So this is the proper thing to do, right? As we said, also according to Kabbalah. If you get up late night, you do have to wash your hands, right? And all the poskim seem to say like that. You need to wash your hands because you slept, right? And because you slept at night, you certainly have to wash your hands and say the blessing, Netilat Yadayim, and then Asher Yatzar, and also Elohai Neshama, all the blessings of the morning, even though it's not morning yet. Katav, b'tshuva klal daled. That's what it says in Tshuva. Katav Rabbeinu David Avudrahem. This rabbi also says so. B'shem Machazor Bitri. Right. This is like a sidur, old sidur. And this also this book. So that's what they say, these rabbis. Okay, so let's go to Shulchan Aruch.
So, I'm sorry. Yes. So, when the person wakes up in the middle of the night, and does all the things you just mentioned, Netilat Yadayim with a blessing, then Asher Yatzah, then the Neshama and the rest of the blessings. Then the day comes, he has to wash the hands again without the bracha.
Oh, right. So yeah, why did you ask that? By the way, I'm just curious. Okay, because the truth, you're right. What you're saying. Maybe you heard this before from me. I don't know.
Perhaps yes.
Maybe that's why you're asking. I don't know, but anyway, right? The rule is like that. That once the dawn comes, you have to bless again. We already discussed this beforehand, when we start.
One second, bless again. You mean do Netilah with a blessing or without the blessing? So
here's the thing, right? That the truth is, it's a doubt, like whether you have to bless or not. So the most people don't bless. According to most poskim, you're not supposed to bless when you wash again.
And according to what?
But according to the Kabbalah, you really should bless. Why is that? Because according to Kabbalah, when the dawn comes, there's some kind of a ruach ra, evil spirit that comes on your hands.
Yes. Even though you've been up, yes.
Right, exactly. Even though you were up. So the evil spirit comes twice. Once it comes when you wake up, when you get up, right? When you slept. So you got to wash there. and then it comes again, a different guy, right? This is like a family member, but not the same guy, right? So it comes, right, this different guy, he comes, and he when the dawn comes, it rests on your hands. So according to Kabbalah, you have, again, Ruach Ra, right, on your hands again. So you do need to bless there. But the custom is not like that, right? The custom is not to bless by most people.
Okay, but
But if you did bless, right, you didn't do anything wrong, because the truth is, according to Kabbalah, you really need it.
right, but sometimes, when I wake up in the morning and then I feel so tired, I'm like, wait a minute, I just began my day. So it could be that, because it's still night, like, I don't know, 5 in the morning. And then, becomes daytime when you're about to say, to move on with your prayers. I just wash my hands, but I don't recite the bracha. And then I'm like, why am I feeling so heavy? And it could be that, because I'm not reciting the bracha again.
Oh, that's interesting. Well,
and I'm arguing with Hashem, like, why can't I pray? Blah, blah, blah. And so then now you're telling me what the answer is.
I guess if I understand you correctly, what you're really saying is that you feel something wrong there.
Yes.
And honestly, I'll tell you, I also feel it. Yeah. So I guess we're on the same page. What can I tell you? So therefore, right, I'm very careful to wash again, before prayers.
With the bracha. If I was
most poskim say without a bracha, But if you do make a blessing, no problem. I'm not going to fight with you about that.
No, but the thing is that I've been washing the hands without the bracha, and I still feel this heaviness where sometimes I'm like, I can't pray, So
yeah, that's very interesting, by the way, because the rule is like this. There's a rule like this in halacha, that if you did a mitzvah, right, and you didn't bless, the mitzvah is still done. So in other words, what you did to wash without the blessing, it still did the job. Did the job. You know what I mean? So the fact that you didn't bless shouldn't make you, whatever. I mean, feel anything different. I don't know. Maybe you're very sensitive. It's possible. So I don't know.
The other way, because I end up not davening sometimes in the morning. I have to wait until mincha because I feel so heavy. And it's frustrating. It's very frustrating, that you woke up early and you're trying to start your day with davening, and I couldn't understand.
Then maybe what you should do is sleep a little bit more, because it seems like you didn't get enough sleep.
No, I went to bed earlier.
That's not what it is? That's not what it is?
No. I went to bed early, like 11ish,
Right.
And then
what makes you feel heavy?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. So now I have to try maybe reciting with the bracha. Maybe it will take care of the problem.
Let me know how it turns out. We'll to be continued.
I will, for sure.
Okay, well, we'll keep that in mind. So let me just say the Shulchan Aruch here. So it says, right, that like the Shulchan Aruch, Hamashkim kodem or layam b'lamod. If a person gets up, right, late night to learn, mevarech b'kat Torah. He has to bless the blessings of the Torah. He doesn't have to bless again when he goes to shul, right? Hamashkim kodem or layam. Person who gets up right before the day. Mevarech al seder brachot chutz birkat noten sechvi. You make all the blessings except this one, right? Noten sechvi gives to the rooster. But according to Kabbalah, you're supposed to do that one also, by the way. So you can do that one as well, no problem. That's the custom around nowadays. Whoever does all these blessings also does that one as well, right? Okay, so then he goes on. Then he does also the daily offering. He reads that daily offering thing. Shamtin milamra ad sheorayom. I skipped something here. 1 second. Give me a second here. Yeah, right. Parashat Tamid. So then he says Shamtin, but he should have to wait. Milamra ad sheorayom. Right? You know what he's saying over here? That you should wait till you say the daily offering until it's daytime, because it's relevant to the day, that offering. It's not done at night. So that part you should wait till the daytime, right? Which is, by the way, what we call korbanot, right? So we do korbanot in the morning. We don't do korbanot at night. So says Rama, so it says Rama that before you go to learn, and right when you get up late night, you should wash your hands, as we already mentioned. If you didn't have any water, let's say, right? Baruch Hashem, today we have water, we have a tap, right? We have the sink, we got everything. But in those days, they didn't have a sink, tap, like that in those days. So it says if he doesn't have any water, he can learn and bless without the water, without washing his hands. Like any other blessing, that you can bless without washing your hands. Like we mentioned above, Siman Mem Vav Agur, right? Okay, very good. So that's that. That's the Ramah. So what do we got left here? Yud Dalet is left. Okay. Right. So this is very short. So I'll just finish it off. Why I'll leave this little thing here, without finishing it. It's so short. So it says the Bet Yosef. Katava Oda Agur, says the Agur also furthermore, it says Beshem Mari Molin, the name of this rabbi, the Nashim Mevachot Birkat Torah. The women also have to bless blessings of the Torah. Right? By the way, why do I have to tell you this? What's the big Hiddush? What's the big novel idea here? Because they're not really obligated to learn Torah, as we said, right? Women are not really obligated to learn Torah. They're just obligated to know the halachot, like to learn the halachot. But to learn Torah, they're not really obligated. So therefore, you may think, since they're not obligated, they shouldn't bless either, But the truth is, they do bless. So it says, not only that, it says, right? Right? It also says in the Gemara that a person really shouldn't teach his daughter, right? Like oral Torah, the oral Torah. Zil Torah. Shabbat, but that's only talking regarding the oral Torah. But not the written Torah. And even though the language of this blessing to toil in the words of Torah, mashma Torah, it implies Torah Shabbat, it implies the oral Torah. In any case, he says, you shouldn't change the language of the blessings. This says furthermore, it says kihen mevarchot. They're also blessing korbanot when they read the korbanot, utfilah, and the blessings and the prayers. Can they get korbanot tiknum? And they were also decreed corresponding to the sacrifices. They are obligated to pray, right? The women, they are obligated in prayers. If so, it says they're obligated. When they reading to read the korbanot, the sacrifices. The whole sheken the divrei samag, all the more so according to the samag. Shkatav, he writes shenashim chayavot lilmod dinim hashayachim lahem ad kan. Right. So the samag mentions also what I just told you, right? That they are obligated, the women, to learn the halachot which are relevant to them. This is obligation. Like the laws of Shabbat, right? They're obligated, or the laws of prayers. So therefore, right, they are obligated in some parts of the Torah to learn them, and therefore, right, that's why they do make the blessing of Birkat Torah, the women. Okay, that's the end of the Bet Yosef. Let's see the Shulchan Aruch, and we're done. So says Shulchan Aruch, right, as we said, Nashim mebachot Birkat Torah. They do bless the blessings of the Torah, the women. Right, so they are obligated in some way, right? Not in the same way as the men, but they are obligated in some way. So therefore, they do bless. This is the story. Okay, very good. We're done. That's it. We're finished the chapter. You should be blessed with wealth, health, happiness. Chazak Baruch, Laila Tov. Sorry to make you wait. Next time, you can give me a buzz. By the way, give me a call. The call will wake me up. Okay, very good.
Thank you, Kavod Harav.
Okay, God bless. Right,
Thank you.
Get ready for Pesach, and I'll see you tomorrow with Hashem, and we'll continue.
Baruch Hashem.
All the
Thank you.
blessings. Bye.
Amen. Amen. Bye.